All right. Well, some days you're the nail, some days you're the hammer, some days you're the bug, some days you're the windshield. Some days it's your day, some days it's not. Nick is going to be here. He had mentioned that he was going to be in here right around 9:20, and he was very hopeful that perhaps those last few innings would go relatively slowly, and here we are. So, here's the thing about Nick is that I'm fairly confident that the 6:40 start time that he is adamantly opposed against really has nothing to do with the left field sun field that we perhaps protect ourselves from time to time. We want to make it seem like it's a competitive disadvantage for the Cincinnati Reds. I think it's just the guy wants the games to finish a little bit later, so his 6 kids that he has running around that house will abide by the rules that he needs them to abide by. But thank you for everybody for jumping in here. Nick will be here. What we're going to talk about, well, I guess that's just what's going to be the drama, because there's certainly not any drama at Great American Ballpark. 13-0. The Colorado Rockies lead the Cincinnati Reds. Now, the good news is this really is a nice plush opportunity for that run differential to really look like we have some optimism to look forward to, right? We were worried about the bullpen collapsing. We were worried about the starting pitching, and we found out today that, maybe it's not perfect in Cincinnati after all. But 19-10, soon to be 19-11, still pretty good. Still pretty good. Good to see everybody. I don't even have the game on right now. I'm just kind of talking to the screen. And yes, I do have game day up, so I guess I'm probably ahead of what I think is everybody in the world, except for the people that are there. Maybe I shouldn't watch the games, because now at this point we're hitting doubles with Tyler Stevenson, and now we got pinch hitting Will Benson driving in runs. Shout out to him. Hopefully I didn't ruin that for anybody, and if I did, that's like spoiling the worst movie ever. I'm doing you a favor, actually. If you want to turn the game off and just listen to me tell you what happens, I think that's actually me doing you a favor. You can stop watching this. Nick's punching air as we speak, because we're actually, he's not punching air. He's fist pumping, and the fact that we're cutting into that deficit. That run differential is shrinking by the minute here in the 9th inning at Great American Ballpark. Nice to see J.J. Bleday get a start, and nice to see him right on cue, single to right field. As I was getting ready to say, he was going to join the ever-ending revolving door of people that come up from AAA and then struggle. Maybe he's going to be the first guy that Darryl Ward's work just transfuses into his body and stays at Great American Ballpark. What if I told you that J.J. Bleday and Rhys Hines were going to hit back-to-back on April 29th on opening day? What if I told you that? What would you have thought? I guarantee you wouldn't have thought that the Reds are going to be 19-11. So that's the positive. Everyone says, oh, toxic trace. Toxic trace. I'm just here to provide the optimism. 19-11 with Will Benson, J.J. Bleday, and Rhys Hines hitting back-to-back-to-back. Nick Kirby's going to come steamrolling in here talking about how Will Benson deserves every bit of what just happened right there. And if maybe he hit against more right-handed pitching, or if he was in the lineup more against right-handed pitching, maybe we would just see this perhaps more. The funny thing about Benson, and I'm sure that we'll find out here relatively soon, it does seem like he has done really well when he's gotten his limited opportunities. He's either walked, He's been hit by pitches, and now he's hit a home run. And I guess ultimately, maybe just maybe, he's gotten out. He's gotten out a time or two. But back to my earlier point, you have Will Benson, JJ Bleday, and Rhys Hines hitting back to back to back on April 29th. And if I would have told you that on opening day, we would have thought that we were in something crazy has happened. Nope, Reds are just 19-11. Not theoretically yet, but they're on their way. All right, I have I've bought enough time, as they say. I've bought enough time in the business. We're just gonna fade them on in. Don't know if you're ready or not, Nick, but welcome to the show.
What's going on? Did Benson hit a home run?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think he hit in this game, actually. Hasn't got in yet. You want to take the victory lap now, or you want to wait?
I didn't even see it, so.
Well, the funny thing is I didn't see it either. I actually was just sitting here watching Game Day, and it popped up. It was a nice little blue circle. It said, in play, runs. Boom, there it is. Will Benson, home run to center field. Tyler Stevenson scores. Good thing about MLB.com is you can actually watch the highlights, so I'll do that now. By the way, center field's a gross misnomer of what that was. That was to right center field at best. I would even categorize that maybe to right field based off the broadcast, but what do I know?
Benson's a fan of QC Kinetix. Didn't want us to.
That's right.
Go.
No doubt about it. Yep.
Somebody say a team player.
Yep, and Brandon Williamson certainly wants us to mention 988. So
you might also need QC Kinetix.
Both, yeah. He's got a bruised ego. That's what he has. I think they call it. They categorize that as shoulder fatigue, but I think it's really just a bruised ego, if we're being honest.
I had all the intentions of coming on here and kind of try to be nice to Williamson, but I can't help but say I think I want to say this now because I don't really want this to go on the podcast. But you know how there's this whole thing about guys that are about to get demoted that get hurt to keep their service time going.
Gotcha.
If there was ever a situation, it's this.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, that's the agent's job, right? I think that the agent or somebody should have been in his ear on the front end of that and been like, "Hey, listen, this is probably what's going to happen. We're going to have to try to do this."
Go south to the Rockies, not in Coors Field.
Yeah. Well, it just never looked. It never looked good. Nothing looked good. Wasn't one moment in this game where you're watching Williamson pitch and you thought, man, he's just running into some bad luck. I don't know. That's what you get with him, though. I mean, let's be honest. That's what you get. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I'm laughing at something different that I cannot say.
That's fair.
Oh, what a night. What a night. How'd Trevino do?
Trevino? Well,
he almost bought me enough time, huh?
He did. He was working on it. I'm still debating which one he's a better hitter or pitcher. Time's out. So jury's still out on that. But good news is he definitely made some of those Rockies hitters he made their nights a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, did you? I don't know if you weren't watching. I was actually listening on the radio for Trevino, and Mickey Moniak extended his hit streak to 13 games against Trevino. Yeah. That's living good, man.
Which let me go back and watch. I was watching that all the way up until he gave up the double. I think it was to give.
It was one of the last hits of the inning.
Okay, then I did not see it because. As soon as he gave up, I think the double, I ended up deciding I was going to come down here and get ready for the show, and that was the end of that. So, All right. TJ Friedel strikes out to make it 2 outs, and Matt McLean finishes it off with the 1-2 punch at the top of the lineup to end the game 13-2. Cincinnati Reds fall to the Colorado Rockies, the juggernaut that is. We'll be back to talk about it here in just a minute.
Bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. It's a save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. He's gone. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McLean's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Line into right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, Nick. These are the shows where they say you get paid the big bucks for a reason, although we don't really get paid the big bucks, so maybe we won't do a show why they should pay us the big bucks. I don't know. It's 13-2. The Reds fall to the Colorado Rockies, and it's one of those games where I think genuinely you just can't even get mad about anything because it was so bad. I think that it felt like you start your day off by sleeping through the alarm, or the alarm doesn't go off. You get yourself to work, you get ready to head in, and all of a sudden you realize you don't have the keys to the office, that you can't get into the office. So then you have to find somebody to come help you out and get into the office. And then when you get in the office, you spill hot coffee on you, And then by the time you realize that your day hasn't even started yet, you kind of already chalked it up of just being a bad day. And that's kind of how I felt with this baseball game. Brandon Williamson was terrible, and really it put this team in a hole. And ultimately we know if this team's put in a hole, Nick, the offense isn't really built to get into any, I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say, to get into many air raids. We're not going to try to outscore too many opponents, and they wouldn't have outscored them anyways, as they found themselves scoreless heading into the ninth inning.
Yeah, I would say the Rockies probably due for one of these against the Reds. I believe the Reds were 15-2 in their last 17 games against the Rockies entering tonight. So shout out to the Rockies. They needed this one, and they got it. And yeah, I mean, when Williamson just never felt like he had a chance really from the first inning on.
Nope, just not good enough. And I've been a defender of Williamson, and I thought that, as somebody that was going to have to be a fifth starter on this team coming out of the spring, I thought that he wasn't a horrible choice. Yet it seems as if we've regressed the last few starts to that kid that we were worried about in AAA, Louisville, that seemingly didn't have command, wasn't going to be able to probably at the big league level throw enough strikes to be competitive, and oddly enough, against the Colorado Rockies, got thrown to the wolves, and he actually kind of performed relatively well when he first got to the big leagues. Stuck around long enough that you started to believe in him a little bit, and then obviously injuries happened, and you really haven't seen much of him since. And then now here we are, what is the start of this year, and he's just not been good enough. So I don't know what you do, Nick. I'm sure we can talk about that throughout the show a little bit, but if you're ready, I got some super chats to get to, and then we'll do the box score recap. How about that? First and foremost, thank you to everybody that's in here on a night like tonight. I very much mean that. I'm sure there are plenty of things that you could be doing outside of listening to two knuckleheads sit here and just try to discuss an 11-run differential baseball game that never even felt close. But here we are. Vandy5140 says, so excited to watch Friedel lead off tomorrow, with some emojis that looked like they're clowns. Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I do this every day. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the gotcha moment, I really am. I'm waiting for the gotcha moment. Like, you suckers, you're so stupid, Trace. You're so stupid. You should have seen this coming. 4 for 4 with 2 doubles and a bomb. Ran a ball down in the gap, dove and caught it. And we can all collectively laugh together. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever see that again either. I'm not sure if he's a Major League Baseball player at this point, to be quite frank. I don't know. I know one thing. Baseball is a very, very hard game. I'm going to give that to him. And I know damn well that there are times when you're playing this game that you just feel like you're paralyzed. There's no way to get out. You're stuck. You feel like nothing's ever going to go your way again. And I know that's where TJ's at mentally, and I feel bad for him in that sense. But this is Major League Baseball, man. And at some point, you don't just get to keep spots forever, especially valuable spots, like spots that genuinely mean a lot. I know I've defended Hayes. We'll talk about this in the show here in just a bit, but I think there's a huge difference between Hayes and Friedel, and maybe someone can correct me if they feel like I'm wrong, but we'll get into that here maybe at some point in the show. John, what is it? Jonah and the Whale. Love that. I have no idea what the rest of that is because YouTube cut it off, but he says, time to put a dome in Cincinnati. I don't know. I don't think that'll happen. We very much could use an indoor event center that could host like March Madness games and concerts and even neutral site college basketball games from time to time. That would be cool. I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon, even though I've seen renderings.
I would like an indoor baseball stadium from the sense of a selfish reason, because it would make it a lot easier for us not having to worry about rain delays, because that's kind of one of the biggest pains in the butt. But I think I think I would hate it as like a fan.
You've not been on this trip yet. You're going on vacation relatively
I'll
soon.
be there next week. Yeah.
I will say that if it's a dome, if we're considering, I don't know if it's American Field or American Family Field or whatever the heck it's called anymore, but it used to be Miller Park, obviously with the Brewers. If that's considered a dome, the retractable roof, I would be open to it. I like it, actually. I really do like it. I don't like the Brewers, but I love their stadium. I really do. I do. I mean, I'd sign up for that.
Reserve my judgment then.
I'd sign up in a heartbeat, man. Like that. It gets so loud in there when the dome's closed at night, and they got the light show going on in there. It's a vibe, man. I was like sitting there secretly loving it while I was like, I hate this team, but this is cool. All right, Vandy 5140 yet again says free Benson. I don't know. He just didn't even get a chance to play again today. I don't know what's going on. And then Trayvon Garvey, here we go. Says Trevino with a lower ERA than Abbott. Not quite. I think you're missing a 0 here or there. But, all right, Nick. Box score recap. By the way, for those that don't know, Trevino's ERA is like literally 45, which is pretty impressive. Pretty good stuff. Go ahead, Nick. Box score recap presented by Sharefax.
Your box score recap presented by Sharefax Credit Union. Sharefax is rooted right here in Cincinnati with 9 branches across the city. They're a not-for-profit financial institution, which means they're owned by their members. So instead of profits going to shareholders, they return to you through lower fees, better rates, and all the traditional banking options you'd expect. Right now, Sharefax has a great auto loan promotion. You can get 1.5% off your qualified rate when you refinance your vehicle, and the first payment isn't due for 90 days. Loans are subject to membership and credit approval, and restrictions may apply. For full terms and conditions, visit sharefax.org. Apply online or give them a call at 513-753-2240. All right, Reds and Rockies, game 2 of 3 at Great America Ballpark. Brandon Williamson on the mound, and he struggled. He got 3 runs in the first inning. Ends up going 3 innings, giving up 4 runs, walked 4 batters, struck out 4, only threw 33 of his 58 pitches, 4 strikes. Shout out to Luis May, who was added to the roster last minute today, as Graham Ashcraft, unfortunately, on bereavement leave. Luis May got through 2 innings and actually was the best pitcher of the day. Only gave up 1 run, a solo homer. Jose Franco really struggled. He gave up 3 runs, did get through 3 innings, so credit to him. Jose Trevino gave up 5 runs in the top of the 9th, and the Reds finally got on the board in the bottom of the 9th when Will Benson hit a 2-run home run, his first of the season. Your Cincinnati Reds fall 13-2 to the Colorado Rockies. Reds down 19-11 on the season.
Yeah, shout out to Will Benson because he did provide a deep drive of the day, sponsored by QC Kinetix. If knee pain or shoulder pain is slowing you down, whether it's on the golf course, the pickleball court, or even the gym, it might be time to talk to the care team at QC Kinetix Cincinnati about regenerative medicine options. QC Kinetix takes a different approach, focusing on treatments designed to help your body heal and recover. They're conveniently located in Liberty Township, right across from Lakota East High School. You can see what the care team at QC Kinetix is all about. Visit QCKinetix.com or call 513-655-3356. Will Benson's home run, 103 off the bat, 400 feet, and the win probability would go from 0 to 0. Reds would trail 13-2 at the time. But, you know, the good news is it was a 32 degrees on the launch angle, which some would say too high, but not for Will Benson. He hits it too far, 400 feet, and Tyler Stevenson would score. So good for Will Benson. I mean, you know, I don't know what it means for him, but, you know, maybe.
Can't be a bad thing.
Maybe he'll get some more opportunities. I'm going to get this out on the front end because it feels like this same song and dance has gone on for far too long with me, and I'm just going to openly say this out loud right now. I personally feel like Will Benson's a better player than TJ Friedl. I get that there's a concept out there that maybe TJ Friedl's had a better career, and I would argue that that's probably relatively true right now. But, you know, at some point, some guys don't play to the level that they used to play at, and they regress, and all of the StatCast and all of the underlying metrics showcase and really point towards the fact that TJ Friedl is just is just struggling very, 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 very badly. And there's really not a lot of pop there. The bat speed's not there. The velocity in regards to arm strength is not there. He's very, very low percentile in regards to just sprint speed. There's just not a lot there to get excited about. Outside the idea that maybe you could say he's a heady baseball player, he's a smart player, high IQ level player, gritty player, all those types of things that you want to use as kind of intangibles, but all the tangible stuff is pretty poor. And at this point, I've seen enough of it, and if I continue to do this every single show, then people are probably going to get tired of hearing it. But I just want to say out loud right now for the final time, I would take almost anybody on this roster to play center field and bat leadoff outside of TJ Friedl. I don't care who you want to stick up there. And I'm to the point now where I'm so fed up with it that I'd rather have Tyler Stevenson lead off. And he's slow, and he also hasn't been hitting the ball relatively well. But you know what? I think Tyler Stevenson's a significantly better option to be getting more at-bats than TJ Friedl. So I'm done with it. I've said my piece about it. And on a 13-2 game, Nick, I'm really not even mad about anything. I think there's some things to talk about, but I'm really not even mad about anything. They lost today, 19-11. They're having a good start to the year. And truth be told, Nick, I think this is kind of the way that you need things to go when it comes to just things averaging out. If you want to kind of stay on the right side of all the margins and you want to keep winning games that maybe you're not supposed to win or blah, 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 we need to lose games in a big way and win all the close ones. And you know what? At the end of the year, I can tell you right now, there's probably a pretty damn good chance, from an analytical perspective, definitely a good chance, that this team's going to find themselves into the postseason if they keep doing this. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case, but I'm not that upset about any of it, outside the fact that I have to keep doing this TJ Friedl bit.
Yeah, 2024 David Bell's punching air right now. This is the exact opposite. They won these games and lost like literally all the one-run games. It's the combination. It's like, okay, if you really have to play TJ Friedl that bad, like that's fine, but like just continuing to run him out there in the leadoff spot, it's crazy. I don't get it. Shout out to Benson. I don't know what their plan is for him. I mean, you put him on the opening day roster over JJ Bleday. You give him like 40 at bats. Now JJ Bleday is taking his spot. Why did I just start with JJ Bleday if you're not going to give the guy a shot? I don't really get that. But, like Benson's had a decent on base percentage, but hasn't really been able to hit a ball to the ballpark. So hopefully that gets him going either for the Reds or for Louisville, wherever he ends up the next week. I don't. This is what it is. I'm just sick of complaining about it every day when I guess the Reds are 19-11 and
yeah. Exactly. On one hand, you look like an idiot because you're complaining about something over and over and over again. And really, when you complain about it, I guess what that means is people think you're taking a direct shot at Tito, and you're basically saying that he doesn't know anything. And then that's never been the case, at least I think on my end. And I'm certainly that's not the case on your end. But it's like, the truth is that Tito can do a lot of right things. But one of his kryptonite things that I think he finds himself digging a hole with is just this loyalty to the identity of what a lineup has to look like, and it's just not working. And you got to make a move at some point. The funny thing is last year we were told that Elly De La Cruz, the reason that he ultimately struggled for the entirety of the season was their inability to try to maybe make an adjustment when it seemed obvious they needed to do something for him. Whether it be sit him or move him down the lineup, because he was pretty poor. And he hit third for how long, Nick? While we were saying, like, I don't know, man, give him a break, move him somewhere else. He moves down the lineup, and all of a sudden he does, play a little bit better. But the whole offseason we're talking about how, he needs to rest more. Nick, he's not rested at all. And also we continue to try to push what was – this narrative that you have to have this guy play center field and bat leadoff, and it's not working. And
it's just like it just feels like there's just a lot of contradictions, because like I can understand, like, like Noelvi Marte, like, hey, we're in win now mode, we need to be aggressive. Mm-hmm. Hey, you're not cutting it, we're sitting down AAA. I can kind of get behind that if that's your mindset.
Right.
But why does that mindset not apply to TJ Friedl batting leadoff? Like, it just feels like we pick and choose when we want that mindset to be applied.
It's because it's almost like there was an impression made by TJ Friedl when Tito first got here on the way that he played the game, and that's indelible to Tito. He values that at a high level, right? Like it or not, you don't have to tell TJ to play hard. You don't have to tell TJ that he needs to do extra time in the cage after the game or whatever. Like, I just know innately that TJ Friedl cares a lot and he works really, really hard. And also, I would say that Noelvi Marte sometimes doesn't showcase that based off the comments that we've gotten out of the clubhouse, and also based off the comments that I was told that the Reds wanted him to go play winter ball. And he decided he didn't want to play winter ball, and that's his right. He's allowed to make that decision. But it's almost like when you tell the coach that you're not going to do that, or you're going to tell the teacher that you're not going to go do that extra work, you're not going to be given any benefit of the doubt if things don't go your way. So that's where we find ourselves, and we move forward. We'll see what happens with Will Benson. They're going to have to make a decision. I would think they're going to have to make a decision relatively soon, unless there's another phantom injury possibly around the corner. I know we've joked about this before, but we've had some phantom injuries in the past, Nick, that have gotten some guys some time off that allowed them to go down to the minor leagues and it not be a demotion. It was just kind of like a chance to have another rehab assignment, maybe to figure some things out. If you've been around long enough, you know who that is. We'll see if that happens again. I don't know if it'll be that, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. What else do you say?
Not much.
Brandon Williamson?
Yeah, he's terrible. He was terrible in this game, I should say. There's really not much to say outside the fact that he can't throw strikes, you can't pitch. Can't throw strikes, you can't pitch. Especially if you're Brandon Williamson. It'd be one thing if we were talking about, I'm not even suggesting Chase Burns can get away with this, but Chase Burns could walk the bases loaded and then strike the next three guys out and get out of a jam. Right? Like there's that Alexis Diaz type of situation. There's the Aroldis Chapmans of the world where back in the day that he would very much throw almost the same amount of balls as he throws strikes. You look up at the scoreboard and somehow they put up a 0. You just can't do that if you're Brandon Williamson. It doesn't. The recipe for that is just going to be horrendous. And he's been that the last few starts. And unfortunately, we're gonna need the likes of Andrew Abbott to be an ace too. It's time to step up and be an ace and I know he's not an ace, but he's gonna have to act like one for at least. He needs to give me like 2 more weeks of some quality starts, or else I think, Nick, we're gonna start to really, really, really make a little bit of a slide when it comes to what our expectations are gonna be for starting pitching. We've been very spoiled for the last few years. And we're starting to see some cracks in the armor here a little bit from our starters, and it's starting to bleed into the bullpen. And we just need a good start, man. We need somebody that can go out there. I think I said it last show yesterday. We need a starter that can go out there and at least throw I said 7 innings the other day. I'm backtracking, maybe even 6 1/3. I'll take 6 1/3. We need somebody to go out there and throw the ball into the 7th inning. So. I don't have anything else to say besides I don't think he's a major league pitcher right now, and I don't know how you could say anything otherwise if you've watched him.
Yeah, I think that's literally it. I think he's at this time on April 29th, 2026, he's not a big league starting pitcher, but it doesn't mean in June he won't be a big league starting pitcher. And I get it. He's incredibly frustrating to watch right now. It is a brutal watch, but I do think we have to have some perspective. This guy's coming back off Tommy John surgery. He was supposed to be the Reds' 7th starting pitcher. He was not supposed to be in the opening day rotation, but he kind of got pushed there. And if he was doing this in Louisville, this command stuff, no one would even flinch at it. It would kind of be what it is. So it sounds like he's probably going on the IL based on the way he left the start today. And that's I guess the same thing as going down. It's time. Hopefully Nick Lodolo can come back and take that spot, and I guess maybe Chase Petty fills one spot through the rotation. That'd be my guess. And Petty's just as much of a roller coaster as Williamson. But it's time to give someone else a shot. But with Williamson, what I would say is, if you look back through his career, minor leagues, major leagues, his command, it is all over the place. Like, it'll be awful for months, and it'll look like this guy's never going to be able to throw strikes again. And then he finds it, and he's been able to have some success. So, like, he just needs to go down to Louisville, hopefully find his command again, and then at some point, the Reds will need him again at some point.
If Graham Ashcraft, obviously, thoughts and prayers to him and his situation. He's just not with the team right now, but I was going to say, oddly enough, with the starting rotation, if Ashcraft, is going to sound weird to say, but if Ashcraft hasn't been as good as he's been this season in the bullpen, I would even make the case that you would try to use him as like an opener or try to fit him in the middle innings and, hey, say, you know what, today we're going to ask, can you throw 3 or 4 innings for us? And we're going to kind of make this a little bit more of a bullpen game and maybe try to find yourself in a spot where, from a matchup based perspective, is there certain teams that it would be better to do that against than others, and try to just skip a start here and there for certain guys. But he's been so good that I am hesitant to even want to try to do that, because I just think that he's been, you could clearly make the case that he's been our best reliever, and it just seems like that's almost an unintelligent thing to do, is to try to reintroduce something that he's already kind of put behind him, and he's embraced this role of being kind of this back-end leverage arm reliever, to where you kind of feel like you're in a weird spot. Because truth be told, Nick, if you told me right now that he was just kind of an average bullpen arm back there, I would be like, yeah, let's do it, because no harm, no foul. But he's almost been too good now to where I'm like, I just don't know if I want to even mess with that at all.
It's funny you say that, because I was actually when I was listening to the game, I didn't actually get to see any of Williamson, but the Cowboy and Tommy Thrall, I think, described that performance well enough for me to get a good sense of it. But I was thinking, I was like, why don't the Reds use an opener with him? And then I checked the numbers. He hadn't given up a run in the first inning all year. He had gotten killed in the second inning. That had been, because I felt like he got hurt early a lot in these games, but it was all the second inning. I still think, though, like, Williamson would be the kind of guy like that an opener would make so much sense. I don't know why the Reds, and I'm guessing this is a Derek Johnson thing, and I don't want to sit here and question Derek Johnson, because I feel like he's done as good of a job as you could possibly hope for. I don't know why the Reds are so against openers. Like, remember Luke Weaver? Like, we begged for them to do it.
For that.
Never tried it. Just let this guy. They DFA him before they even try it. I don't know why the Reds are so against it. It feels like a team like the Rockies, they platoon a lot of spots. It feels like you might be able to kind of at least mess up their lineup, at least create some confusion. And I don't know why the Reds are so against that.
Well, I wasn't so much as saying as it had to be against the Rockies, as much as it is just like an ongoing effort to try to just survive and advance until you get Lodolo and Green back, and that's getting Green back. We'll see. You said he might be ahead of schedule. We'll ultimately find out. But truth be told, is Williamson is just a guy that I don't think that we can trust moving forward to be the 5th starter on a guaranteed basis. And maybe we're overreacting after a couple starts, but it's almost the way the starts have looked, Nick. Not just so much the results, but just even the way that he's thrown the ball. It's just been horrific. The results have been bad, but he's just not around the plate. He's not even competitive, and I don't know. I understand it's a tough gig to ask a guy coming right out of Tommy John, hasn't really had too much more experience in the big leagues, and all of a sudden, boom, you're thrown right into the rotation right away. When he, as you said, he was our 7th starter. But I guess you gotta survive in advance. We'll see what the Reds end up doing. But I know one thing: when he's throwing the ball, having Trevino and Hayes in the lineup together, that's tough sledding, as they say.
Trace, the Reds are 25th in Major League Baseball in starting pitching ERA at 4.57, and they are 19 and 11.
It's not been good. I mean, really, let's be honest. Outside of Rhett Lauder, and Rhett Lauder's had a stinker. Chase Burns and Rhett Lauder have been the bright spots, and Abbott's pitched well on opening day and has, kind of sputtered since. And
Singer had a good and a half start.
Yeah, I mean, Singer's had a couple of just bad starts. It's just not been good. It's not been good, but the bullpen's been unbelievable. The bullpen has been as good as you could have ever hoped for, and the Reds offense has found ways to score in a timely manner, and it's just funny what happens when you get production out of your first baseman. Elly's had a good year, and we got some production out of the DH spot there for a minute, but it is amazing. I mean, it really is amazing. We're 19-11, and that's awesome because I think that gives me confidence. I don't know, I don't know how you feel about it, but it gives me confidence that this team has been this poor in this many areas in certain, and basically certain situations. They've just been Houdini, and they've found ways to win, and hell, that's all that really matters. So
it just increases your margin for error. I mean,
yep.
This team didn't have that big of a margin for error going into the season, and this start has drastically increased it.
100%. Yeah, they have. Let's hope they don't just squander it in a short time frame by not being able to find a way to go, hopefully we don't go 2 weeks without good starting pitching at one point, but it feels as if right now we are going to be leaning heavily on Andrew Abbott, and we need Andrew Abbott to be good. At least if it's not this start that he's got coming up, it's going to have to be the next one for sure. So, all right. We got the shutout on there for now. Obviously, the ninth inning made it to where the shutout went kaput, but the offense is what it is. I have one quick thought on the offense, and it's this. Outside the lineup change that I've been begging for between really not just Friedel, but also McLean. I don't want him to skid by either. This notion that he has to hit second as well is just crazy to me. Spencer Steer seeing the ball, fantastic. I would just move him up in the 2-hole, please. I'm begging you. I would love to put Elly lead off, Spencer Steer in the 2-hole, put Sal Lowe, and then obviously whatever the lineup is after that, start to just push forward. But I don't know. It kind of feels like at this point, Nick, we've covered what the lineup is. The only thing I want to get into is Hayes whenever you're ready. But do you have anything on the lineup as a whole that you kind of want to discuss as they were shut out into the ninth inning?
Not really.
All right, we'll get into Hayes here in just a bit. What I do want to do is I want to jump forward. I'm actually going to do a super chat, do some super chats here before we jump into the back half, and I'm going to finish the last super chat with something I want to talk about before we get into the Hayes situation. All right, back up top. Friedel's a bag of chains tied to our eagle wings. You win some, you lose some, but that boy's got to go. Hashtag let the red legs fly free. We'll see. It stinks having to get on the fact that you just are done with TJ Friedel because I know he cares. He plays the game hard. I'm sure that if I was in the clubhouse and I had to interact with everybody on a daily basis, I'm for sure certain that I would be a fan of TJ Friedel.
There's a reason they stick the microphone in front of him as much as they can.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I do understand that, and I am not. I'm not even debating that. It's just I like to watch my favorite team win, and it seems obvious what we need to do. All right, Vandy says we'll win tomorrow. Simple as that. We'll win tomorrow. That's all. Hey, I said yesterday's show. Everybody's asking for sweep this, sweep that. Hey, listen, you tell me if we're going to win the series, I'll sign up for that in a heartbeat against anybody. D. Brown, OG checking in, says, no fair weather fan edition of Chatterbox Reds. OG here, supporting you guys. You guys do an amazing job. I'll be at Wrigley next Thursday for the rubber match. Can we get both of y'all's prediction on that series outcome? I need to know who's pitching, to be honest with you, but I'm always going to say that the Reds are going to take the series, if that's what you're asking.
Your 4-game series, the pitchers would be Brandon Williamson on Monday, but it's obviously not going to be Brandon Williamson. So probably Chase Petty against Edward Cabrera, Andrew Abbott against Jameson Talion. I believe I'm going to be there on that night. Brady Singer against Colin Ray, and Rhett Lauder against Shoto Imanaga. No Chase Burns. It's hard to see the Reds predicting a 4-game series win when Chase Burns doesn't pitch right now.
Yeah, I don't know. We split. Yeah, we're gonna split that one. We're gonna survive in advance and move on. You know, that's what we're gonna do. Jonah and the Whale says the Reds are 0-4 in businessman specials this year. It's time to change that around. Time to switch it up, baby. Never a better time than the present. Big Red Machine. I'm gonna save his because I want to use his to segue into the what is essentially the back half of the rundown. Andrew Scobie just chimes in and says, "What do you guys say on a game like this? I mean, love the show, boys. Yes, thank you for supporting the show. What do you say? We've kind of said it three or four different ways, just the same way, which is what I found good, basically, sports talk hosts try to do. All right, here we go. Big Red Machine. Also, let's talk about the boneheaded third base coach waving/escorting Matty 80 feet to virtually another major injury at home plate. Thought Harris was going to score for McLean on his behalf. Sad game. Yeah, it was a tough game.
Were they down 3-0? Was it 3-0 or 4-0 at that point?
They were down at that point. I want to say it was 3-0. I will double check.
How do you make it out at the plate down 3-0?
There was 2 outs in the inning. So here's my I guess here's my view of it. One, I do think that all happens relatively fast. I also want to say that if this was the opposite version of what happened, if that was Elly making that play, or even just maybe McLean, I don't want to say Elly because he does special things, but maybe McLean dives and stabs the ball and keeps it in front of him, throws the guy out at home, I think that we all would be talking about how that was a great play. I don't think we would be talking about the boneheaded play by the guy going home and the third base coach waving him and how big of an idiot the Rockies are. I want to say out loud that I thought that it was a good play on the front end. Whether or not it was a boneheaded play, I think that's a kind of a coin flip, to be completely frank, because I do think the way in which that the guy dove for it at shortstop, it might have been hard from Harris's perspective to see whether or not that ball trickled through or maybe got booted. And in a spot, 9 times out of 10, in a spot with 2 outs, you're always probably going to, if you think it's a coin flip situation, you're always going to go with the aggressive approach. Or I think you should always go with the aggressive approach, unless it's late in the game. I mean, this was very early in the game. If it was a 7th or 8th inning, Nick, I would typically agree with what you're trying to say, which is like, hey, let's just make sure that we don't make the out at home so we have a chance to hit a home run and maybe tie the game or whatever. But it's so early in the game that I think runs, they all matter, right? Like that one run could have made a difference later in the game where, you know, ultimately we know it didn't. But I got to say, for a guy that usually gets upset and, you know, makes a big deal about things that I think are boneheaded or not intelligent or mental mistakes, I don't have a huge issue with that one. I just don't. And if you're telling me right now, if I had to have a third base coach that's super, super tentative or hesitant, or one that's going to be relatively aggressive in situations where there's 2 outs, to be clear, 2 outs, then sign me up for the guy that's sending him with 2 outs. He was out by about 2 or 3 feet. I don't think he was out by 10 feet. So that's my opinion. But I can understand the other side, Nick.
Good super chat to bring that up, though. Shout out.
Yeah, I want to say it was a small play in the game because it was 13-2, makes it feel a lot smaller than what it felt like at the time. But we say this all the time, Nick. Like if the shortstop bobbles that ball just a little bit, like just even a fraction, McLean scores. And we're talking about how heads up play that was and how he, just stupid stuff like that.
Either way, either he scores or maybe they rally in that inning and they score a couple more runs. It ends up a whole different game. You're probably not going to Luis May, your first man out of the bullpen, although Luis May pitched pretty well. And you never know. This could have been a totally different game.
Could have been. You'd had first and third with Lowe coming up in a 3-0 game, which you never know. Lowe's been seeing the ball really, really well. ultimately he wound up walking, oddly enough, on a pitch clock violation the next inning. Not that you can count whatever he was going to do the next inning versus what he would have done in the first and third with 2-out situation. But I already know people would have done that math. If Lowe would have came up and hit a home run, everybody would be talking about how that was a 3-run home run you took away.
Cowboy was so annoyed at that guy running the pitch clock down to the last second every pitch. He was so annoyed.
Well, he got called for it, so shout out for that. But, listen, I don't know. Third base coach, in my opinion, more times than not, decisions need to be made before the ball's hit on what you want to do. And you have McLean at second base. If you have a chance to try to score, more times than not, in my mind, he's going to send them. I would have said if he got thrown out to make it the second out in the inning, Nick, I would have been on a rampage about how that was the dumbest thing in the world, right? Or 0 outs. Honestly, the only out that I'm even giving him an out on is the fact that there was 2 outs. And the next hitter up was going to have to do something that more than likely he does less than 40% of the time. So, all right. Good super. Something to talk about on a 13-2 game. Why not? You gotta find the small wins. Outside of that, Nick, man, I'm sorry. I don't have much, bud. I mean, let's wake up tomorrow and see if we can't win a game. I mean,
Yeah.
Reds MLB. Is that where we're going next?
Let's do it.
I'm ready for it.
Reds MILB presented by our friends at 78 Cigars. Cincinnati legend Anthony Munoz has a new venture, and we are fired up to partner with it here on Chatterbox Reds. Introducing 78 Cigars, a premium cigar line from the Hall of Famer himself. If you love great cigars in Cincinnati football history, this is the perfect combination. You can grab 78 Cigars right now at both Montgomery and locations or over at Creekside Cigar Company. You can also check them out online. Just head to anthonymunoz.com, click on the 78 Cigars page, and learn more or place your order today. That's 78 Cigars from the greatest offensive lineman to ever do it, Anthony Munoz. All right, how about our Louisville Bats? And shout out to them not going final, so I'll have to re-record this. I really appreciate it. They're up 5-0 over Omaha in the top of the ninth. Speaking of Chase Petty, I don't know if he was pulled early because I have not been with it today, but he only goes 2 1/3, 2 hits, no runs. I don't know, he walked 3 batters, so I don't know if he was pulled early because of Williamson, or if not, I'll have to do a little bit of research into that. Through 62 pitches, including only 37 for strikes, walked 3, according to Craig Sandlin behind the desk researching. TJ Antone, another scoreless inning, struck out 2 batters. Trevor Kunsel, another scoreless inning. Boy, he's pitching really well. Blake Dunn, 3 for 5. Edwin Arroyo, 2 for 5 with a double. Hector Rodriguez, 2 for 5. And Noelvi Marte, tough day. He goes 0 for 4. And that would end an 11-game hit streak. With AAA Louisville. Avon Johnson, boy, he's on fire. He hit his 5th home run of the season. Down to AA, Chattanooga, they fell 5-2 to Birmingham. Lookouts 17-6 on the season. Carlos Jorge 1 for 4. Leo Balcazar 0 for 4 with a walk. Cam Collier 0 for 4. Austin Hendrick 1 for 4. Jay Allen 2 for 4 with a double. The Dayton Dragons, they sweep Lansing in a doubleheader, win 5-2 and 7-0. They're now 12-11 on the season. Carlos Sanchez had a good day, on base 4 times total, 2 for 6, double and 2 walks. Kind Vu, 2 for 6 with a pair of walks. Alfredo Duna only played in 1 game. He goes 0 for 4. And down to low A, the Daytona Tortugas got a big win, 12-6 over Fort Myers. Tortuga is now 7-16 on the season. Good start for Mason Morris. 4 1/3 innings pitched, just 1 run, struck out 4. Kyle Henley, big day, 3 for 5 with a double. Tyson Lewis, 1 for 4. And Arnaldo Lantigua, 2 for 3 with a pair of doubles. That is your Reds MILB.
All right, love it. And also shout out for Ken Butler. Thank you for the super chat. Says, just got here. Can we start Trevino over Williamson? At least it'd be fun. Yeah, I mean, listen, Trevino, sometimes you can get lucky and get guys out relatively quickly. And it's kind of funny because it's like, wow, maybe the way that guy was pitching, like super slow and kind of unorthodox, would work, because they never see that. Well, I don't think we have to worry about that with Trevino. That boy was getting he was getting hit. But got a chance to redeem ourselves, Nick. Got a chance to redeem ourselves. And as I said, you find a way to win the series, and you should be happy about that. You should be happy about it. Doesn't matter. Take 2 or 3 from anybody in this league. It's a win. So, got some more baseball, Nick. Who, what, when, where, and why. See if we can't make that work.
All right, Reds Rockies, 12:40 p.m. on Thursday. Andrew Abbott looking for his first one of the year. He's 0-2 with a 6.59 ERA. Against Michael Lorenzen, he's 2-2 with a 5.97 ERA. Abbott over his career is 2-0 with a 3.91 ERA against the Rockies. But he was rough last season. Only faced the Rockies once in Coors Field. 4 runs in 4 innings. Actually walked 5 batters in that start. Active Rockies, though, haven't done a whole lot against Abbott. Just 8 for 39. That's a 205 average. Jordan Beck and Brenton Doyle have both homered off of Abbott. Now, Michael Lorenzen, ERA is probably a little bit deceiving. He gave up 9 earned runs in his second start, but has a 2.95 ERA in 4 starts since, and his last time out was really good. Only gave up 1 run in 7 innings against the Mets, didn't walk anyone, and struck out 3. Lorenzen has really struggled against the Reds, though. 3 career starts, 6.48 ERA. Reds got 11 hits off of him in a start last season. Active Reds, 14 for 53. That's a 264 batting average. Tyler Stevenson has done the most damage, 5 for 8 with a homer off of Michael Lorenzen. TJ Friedel is 2 for 5. Key Brian Hayes is 2 for 7. McLean, 1 for 3. Spencer Sears really struggled, 1 for 8 against, as is Elly. Both of the players are 1 for 8. There you go. Tomorrow, need a big start from Andrew Abbott.
We do. Absolutely. Momentum, as they say in baseball, is only as good as your next day starter. So, we'll see. Andrew Abbott, we need your help. We need it bad, and we could use it now. So, we'll see if he's up for the task of being the ace, because that's what aces do. They quickly let you forget about the fifth starter's previous outing at times. So we'll see if Abbott can't turn one in. In regards to Schmick Schmack asks, any thoughts on Steel Hall's potential? My thoughts.
He's just a baby boy.
My thoughts are he's just a baby. He's just a baby. Yeah, I don't. I mean, can he even drive at this point?
He doesn't even have a stat page yet on MILB.com.
Yeah,
Schmick Schmack.
Come on, Schmick Schmack. Do you live in Daytona? Because if you live in Daytona, I could understand. You've been going to those games and you're wondering, hey, could use some help in here. Could use some help in here at Daytona. Shang-In Lin and Tyson Lewis, they ain't getting it done. We need some more help. I don't know. If you're asking me, I'm the last guy you want to ask. I could give a rat's tail about guys that are in AA right now that are maybe hypothetically 26 years old that people are getting excited about, but that's here nor there.
He's a long, long way away from the big leagues. I mean, he's a long-term project. So,
yeah. What pick was he? What number was that?
Number 9 overall.
That's insane. No?
Yeah, the Reds were saying they thought he was talented enough to be 1-1. I don't know. He's been a very conflicting player. Like, there's some prospect guys that love him, some that, I mean, I don't think anyone dislikes him. But yeah, I mean, he's clearly talented. I think he's probably one of the fastest probably one of the fastest players in any level of baseball right now.
Right.
But I've only seen video of the guy on cell phones, so
can't see. So I don't really... half the guys are saying
he did play in a spring training. He did play in spring training, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean,
I think he got like a couple at bats in spring training.
I was just saying, half the at bats in spring training you'd never get a chance to see because they're not on TV. But I was gonna say that half the scouts probably think he's one of those guys that can't steal first base. You know, Like yeah, it doesn't matter how fast you are if you don't have the skill set to be able to put bat on ball at a consistent enough level at the big league level. So we'll see.
Defensively, I know a lot of people. I think everyone agrees he has the talent to be really, really good defensively. I think your hope is he's a Trey Turner type player, but he could be just a guy that's really fast that can't hit. I mean, that's also a possibility.
Definitely. Yep.
It's a fun thing about prospects is, if you go back to 2023 and you go to the trade deadline and people are wanting Michael Lorenzen, you say, oh, you know what? Hey, you know what? I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up Rhys Hines right now. Rhys Hines was, right, decent prospect at that point. You go down the list of guys. Hey, I'll give up that number 10 ranked prospect, Sal Stewart. That guy's fine. I mean, he's so far down the list. They're lottery tickets, and you better hope if you give away the right one.
That's right. Well, I think that he'll be just fine as soon as he gets to Darryl Ward. Darryl Ward to get him squared away.
Maybe we just send Darryl down to Daytona for a little bit.
Yeah, I think you send Darryl to the big leagues with the next guy that comes up. If we're being honest, why not? And we can have another guy sitting up there. We have bench coaches, we have assistant coaches, we have translators, we have trainers, we have managers, we got assistant managers, we got ball boys. What's one more person down there in the clubhouse? But all right, folks, we have more baseball to be played tomorrow. Hopefully you'll join us for what is going to be a businessman special, and hopefully we can find a way to win. And if we can, you know what, all this 13-2 garbage that we had to watch tonight will be all forgotten. We can move on. And hopefully, just hopefully at some point, maybe we can address the fact that we don't put our best hitters at the beginning of the lineup, and that would be cool. But until then, I'm just going to say I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Go Reds, and we'll be back better than ever tomorrow. Take care, everybody.